Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and this is my June 2026 reading wrap-up. If you're not already aware, I do weekly entertainment wrap-ups of everything I read, watch, and listen to. But today we're just talking about the books and mostly the stats. I'm going to start with my hardcore nerdy stats and charts and then get into what I read. Also, I put chapter markers in all of my videos, so if you need to skip over anything or go back to anything, all of that is down below. While you're down below checking that out, make sure that you're subscribed because sometimes YouTube likes to unsubscribe people just for funsies. Hit that bell icon if you actually want to be notified, and hype this video if you're allowed to do that. As a reminder, I'll briefly go over the Queer Lit Readathon at the end of this, as well as my bingo board from hell. Also, before we get started, I want to remind you that I started doing these videos in particular a little bit differently. I used to talk in length about all of the books, but as it turns out, I already do that because I've already told you that I do weekly entertainment wrap-ups. So all of the links for all of the books I've already talked about will be down below, telling you exactly where I've talked about these books before, with the exception of the one book that I've finished since the last time I did a weekly wrap-up, which will be posted this coming Sunday. In these videos, however, I still provide the data. I let you know exactly what my star rating was, where it was ranked in my month. But I figured there's no reason for me to talk about these books at length twice. Work smarter, not harder. I also woke up with a sore throat and now I can also feel it in my nose, so you definitely don't want me to have to talk more than I already have to. In June, I read 20 books for a total of 5,426 pages. That takes into account converting audiobook minutes to pages, so 3,244 of those pages were actually about 96 hours of audio. The age breakdown for these books was 15 adult books, 3 YA books, 1 middle grade book, and 1 kids book. I read 15 novels, 2 novellas, 2 anthologies, and 1 picture book. This month, the biggest chunk of what I read was fantasy and horror, followed by romance, mystery thriller, non-fiction, contemporary classics, spec-fic, and sci-fi. If you adjust by page count, not too much changes. More than half of these books were from the library, but I read some from various other sources. I read 11 audiobooks, 6 ebooks, 2 hardcovers, and 1 paperback. The page range of my books was pretty well spread out, but 200 to 299 page range was the winner by a hair, and the majority were published this decade. The majority of these books were written by women, and most of the protagonists were women. In terms of setting, it was just the US, the UK, and other worlds. In terms of diversity of subject matter, half of these were queer, another third were intersectional, meaning queer and something else. Another had to do with mental health, another one had a trans author, but that wasn't the subject of the book, and a couple had no discernible diversity to speak of. In terms of star ratings, this month I had 1 2.5 star read, 1 3-star read, 4 3.5 star reads, 9 4-star reads, 4 4.5 star reads, and 1 5-star read. Let's start with the lowest rated read and work our way up to the highest, shall we? Very briefly, my 2.5 star read was The Secret World of Briar Rose. This was a great idea, the execution was not great. Next we have Flawless Girls. This one concerns 2 sisters and our main character is intersex. I liked the ideas in this, but also I didn't really care for the plot of it. On to my 3.5 star reads, the first one being a novella called Must Love Cake. This one has demisexual characters who are also monsters. After that, we have Cubs and Campfires. This is all about a journalist who decides that he is going to have a summer without dating anyone, so he decides to take a job in the middle of nowhere, and yet he still ends up meeting a hot guy. Next, we have The Honey Me Murder. This is about a guy that runs a pub, and then something happens at the pub, and he has to solve what happened because otherwise he's going to get blamed for it. And finally, for this category, we have The Other Woods, which was the middle grade book I read this month. This one is about a non-binary character who has always been able to see these creatures and ghosts, and has stopped telling people about it because everyone thinks they're making it up, and they have to confront this. On to my 4-star reads, the first one being The Monsters We Made. This one is about a couple of paranormal detectives who run a YouTube channel. They're also a couple and they're on a break, and they go to this one specific location that one of them has always wanted to go to, and whether or not there's actually paranormal goings on, you'll have to read the book. Next, we have Not Quite Human, which is about an intersex monster hunter, and it gets pretty steamy at points. After that, we have something incredibly random, which is Animal Farm. This is one of those classics I never read in school. I put a hold on it at the library, and I just read it when it came in. After that, we have When the Earth Was Green. This is a non-fiction book about the history of plants and how to study the history of plants when we don't have that many fossil records of them, and it's written in a series of vignettes. I really enjoyed this. After that, we have Miss Major Speaks. This is a nonfiction book about this queer elder that I highly recommend. After that, we have Victorian Psycho, which is kind of like American Psycho, but set in Victorian times, and our main character is a woman, and she is on a mission, but you don't really know that from the beginning of the book. After that, we have The Jellyfish Problem. This is the first book that I read this month, and this one has a lot of metaphors and vocabulary specifically to do with water, and it has to do with this scientist who is studying jellyfish, hears from this woman she hasn't heard from in over a decade, decides decides to go there to help her out, and all hell breaks loose. After that, we have Game Changer, which is the first in the Game Changers series. I think that if you've watched the TV show Heated Rivalry, you know what happens in this book. Because there is an episode and a little bit that is dedicated to the plot of this book, certain little things are different about these characters in the book rather than in the show, but overall I think they adapted it really well, and I'm really looking forward to listening to the next book in the series. Finally, for this category, and the only book that I haven't already talked about on the internet yet, we have Ninth House. This is the beginning of, I believe it's a trilogy. I think there actually might be a fourth book coming out, but don't quote me on that because I'm getting sick and I'm not fact-checking right now. This is about a woman who has always been able to see ghosts and a secret society at Yale that decides that they can use that power. One of my 4.5-star reads, the first one being the picture book that I read this month, and that's And Tango Makes Three. If you've heard about queer picture books before, you've probably heard about this one. This is about two male penguins who end up adopting an egg and raising it as their own. This actually happened in a New York zoo. After that, we have Blessed Water, which is the follow-up to Scorched Grace, which follows a nun who is queer and also kind of a detective. After that, we have Yesteryear, which follows a trad wife influencer who also finds herself back in the 1800s. And finally, for this category and the penultimate book on this list, we have Can't Spell Treason Without T, which is about two different characters, one of them who works for the Queen and one of them who's in the position of the top magical power in this world. They are secretly dating and they decide to run away together and open a book and tea shop. Finally, my 1 5-star read for the month was Mistakes Were Made. This is about two women who meet at a bar, really hit it off, and then the next morning they come to find out that one of them is the best friend of the other one's daughter. So yeah, that's a little bit messy, and I loved every second of it. As for the Queer Lit Readathon, this was the beautiful bingo board. I blacked out every single thing on this board with, I believe it was 9 books, and I finished that TBR by the 19th of June. So I have a very abrupt and short reading vlog about that experience because there was about a 2-week period where I forgot that I was vlogging. But technically, I think I'm in 3 different countries in that vlog, so take that for what you will. As for my bingo board from hell, this is what it looks like now. I had some movement on my audiobooks as well as my ebooks, as well as I added a few more page-bound badges. And we're getting to the point in the year where I might start actually working on other squares. If you want to hear me talk more about these books or other books for that matter, the playlist for my weekly entertainment wrap-ups is always linked down below. And like I said, every book I've talked about in this wrap-up, with the exception of Ninth House, has a link down below. Eventually the link for the video where I talk about Ninth House will also be down below, but that is a future video from when I'm posting this one. If you've read any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. If you now want to read any of them, please let me know that as well. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!